Welcome to the Morning Grind podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It's Thursday, May 15th, 2025. We have a 4-game MLB slate to talk about here on today's podcast. Missed Wednesday, got home kind of late on Tuesday night and was just exhausted and just was like, hey, I'll do a small 4-game breakdown on Wednesday night for Thursday slate instead, because I'm still trying to do 4 days a week. Every once in a while I'll probably mix in a 5th day. Have some plans for some short kind of content stuff that I'll be putting out here hopefully soon, and working for some NFL stuff as well. So hope everyone's having a great Wednesday night. And what's up, YouTube chat? Yeezy Derek. Yeah, there's a new hat. Asheville Tourists, I think, is the team. I just thought it was really cool with a beer mug. I have a few minor league hats with like beer mugs. I just think they're cool looking. So, and I like the colors, teal, and like dark blue and teal, just kind of look cool. So, have a really good friend that lives in that area too. So, yeah. So 4 games, not a ton. Shorter podcast for sure. Parlayed your picks tonight, hoping for the last 2 plays. Yeah, I mean, looked like it was. I haven't checked a lot of baseball in the last little while, but it was looking like it was going to be a really solid betting night for me. So I know Jackson Merrill is one that I need. I just got the James Wood one. And then I have a bet on the over in the LA San Diego game. That's off to a good start. So hopefully it all works out. 4 games, shorter podcast. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button over there on YouTube. Day slate baseball. Love some day baseball. Haven't got to talk a lot of day baseball on the podcast. I've been focusing more on the main slates when we have these split slates. But always fun to get in here and break down these shorter, smaller slates. A lot of strategy that's different, especially on this slate with the pitching the way that it is. So let's talk about it. We get started with Washington at Atlanta, 8.5 total here. Braves, a 218 favorites. We have Williams and Smith-Stroyer pitching against each other. In this one, we'll start here with Trevor Williams. Trevor Williams not very good anymore. He's good at limiting damage to right-handed hitters. He has a really good pitch mix for right-handed hitters. So, like, his strikeout rate is higher against righties. He does a really good job of limiting power to righties. He just really, really struggles with lefties. Like 24% strikeouts to righties, 14% to lefties, 41 ISO to righties, 229 ISO to lefties, and one more, because why not? 222 WOBA against righties, 451 WOBA against lefties. This lineup, you have Matt Olson, you have Harris, you have Albies. Verdugo probably hits leadoff here. They should have 4 or 5 lefties in this lineup. So I think there's enough lefties for me to stay off of Trevor Williams here. He really is going to benefit. Like, if he ever gets Houston, no, it's like a running morning grind joke at this point. But if he ever gets Houston, he could pitch really well against Houston with their 9 righties. So probably not the spot I'd play Trevor Williams. But if you're an MME player, you're probably not really phasing away from any pitcher on this slate. I mean, you realistically could probably take shots on everybody. But Williams, probably a single entry type build for me today. Maybe 3 entry max type of build. But I don't want to play Williams today. Smith-Stroyer on the other side of this game pitched really well for us last time out. Had a really good outing against Pittsburgh. Pitched well against Cincinnati recently. He's had these moments of brilliance and moments of like, what are you doing? But matchup wise, the top half of this lineup: Lowe, Wood, Adam, or Abrams, really solid. The bottom half of this lineup beatable. Some strikeouts in this lineup. With the limited pitching options that we have on this slate, I definitely think that Smith-Stroyer is in play today. I mean, I'd be ecstatic if I got 40 fantasy points from my pitchers on this slate. I think pitching is very weak on this slate. So I think Smith-Stroyer very playable today. He struggles more with like right-handed power, and that is like probably the best thing. He kind of has a lot better like pitch mix for lefties. So looking at this lineup, I mean, Alex Call has been really decent this season against right-handed pitching. His WOBA is like 350, doesn't strike out, doesn't have a lot of power though. 4-game slate. Don't necessarily need everybody on your team to hit a home run. And I don't think he's hit a home run yet this season. So not a ton of interest here. Like I said, Smith Schroyer, he's done a great job against lefties, limiting the damage against lefties. His ISO is like 125 against lefties, 230 WOBA, 29% Ks. So if I was going to play Washington, it'd probably be the same Washington bats I always play. Low Wood, Abrams. On the Atlanta side, again, Trevor Williams really struggles with left-handed hitters. So I have a lot of interest in Olsen today. I have a lot of interest in Harris. I don't know if Baldwin will get the start. He might. I know he just played recently, but day game after a night game, every once in a while, you'll get the backup catcher. If Baldwin's in there, he's a cheap catching option. Maybe he's in there as like a catcher play that we could play. Verdugo should hit leadoff. Interest in him, but I definitely prefer the lefties. If you're going to 5-man stack and you want to take some shots on like Riley and Ozuna in those stacks, I don't hate it. Eli White, righty as well, but personally, I think Atlanta is in play for a stack today. We have a lot of iffy pitching today. So Robert in chat is asking, how do I recommend stacking on smaller cards? I'm assuming in slates compared to the bigger slates. I mean, I always like to try to 5-man stack. If there is a lot of strong offenses, I'll run some 3-3-2s or some 4-4 type builds. But on this slate, like I'll try to 5-man as much as possible. And you could like 5-1-1-1, 5-2-1, those types of stacks. 5-3. But you are really trying to find that offenses that's just going to score a bunch of runs. So, hello, question. Which pitchers are you in your pool for single entry, I might ask? I mean, right now, we're through one game, and Smith Schroyer is probably my favorite. I honestly don't have a clue who my SP2 is going to be. Smith Schroyer will be in my lineup for sure. Outside of that, it's probably going to come down to Gausman or Nick Martinez. Like, I mean, that's how bad pitching is today. We'll talk more. Maybe I'll ask me that question again in like 3 games. And Minnesota at Baltimore is where we go next. 9 total in this game. Baltimore a 135 favorite. We got Paddock against Sagano. Like, Paddock is not very good anymore. At one point, Paddock was a huge prospect for San Diego. And, I mean, everyone is just kind of like, what happened? I mean, obviously some injuries, but he came into the league as like this really high potential strikeout pitcher, and the strikeouts have just kind of disappeared for him. So, sitting around 17% this season, struggles with right-handed power, can struggle with lefties with fly balls. He's kind of gotten lucky even with his numbers this year. Like, his lefty numbers are a little skewed. He has like a 160 BABIP against lefties. So I don't like Paddock in this spot. So, yeah, I mean, I have a lot of interest in the Baltimore bats. We'll talk about them in just a second here. Like this weird, like, black fuzz on my drink. Sagano on the other side, we've seen him a little bit now. Like, he is going to try to go out there and limit the damage, pitch to contact, generate ground balls, and try not to get blown up. He doesn't have a huge strikeout rate, but he can pitch deep into games when his BABIP is going his way, and he has a very low BABIP. But we see this all the time on certain pitchers with certain pitch types that are pitching to contact, they'll have a really low BABIP, and I still wouldn't say that it's like super sustainable, but he throws like a splitter, sweeper, fast ball / sinker. Like it has a lot of movement. They classify it sometimes as a fastball and sometimes as a sinker. And then he throws a cutter. So he really just goes out and tries to generate ground balls and soft contact. And he's done a really good job of that this year. He's 8K. Minnesota doesn't strike out. Like it's a team that for years we've like trained our brains to like, hey, we could target this offense. They're not a great offense, but like I don't know what was on my drink, but like something fuzzy. But Minnesota, like they're not the greatest offense in the world, but they're not the worst offense either. Like WRC plus are like 21st against right-handed pitching, but their strikeout rate's middle of the road. They have some power, middle of the road. So, like, I think if he has a good BABIP game, he could score like 18 to 22 DK points at 8K. So he's playable, especially with the lack of power at the bottom half of this lineup. Like Royce Lewis has been really good at putting the ball in play, and we know the power is going to eventually come. But there is upside to the bottom half of this lineup. We have seen him strike out a little bit more hitters recently, which is good. So I think he's playable on this small slate. I think he's playable for sure. It's just like, you know when you're playing him that if he has a bad BABIP game, it's not going to be a good day for him. If he hits his like 225 to 250 type BABIP game, he should have a good game here. There's something. Oh. As far as the Minnesota bats go, again, he does a really good job of limiting power, but he pitches to contact, so he's not a huge strikeout guy. So, like, these are the types of matchups that I like to get some exposure to, like Byron Buxton, Larnick, even like a guy like Brooks Lee that put the ball in play a lot, that have some power. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here for Minnesota. I don't think they're a full stack today, but I think they're playable for sure. Baltimore on the other side of this game they're not my favorite stack. We're gonna get to my favorite stack, but they're very, very close to my favorite stack. I love this spot for Baltimore. I like that they still have a little bit of value in this lineup, so probably not too hard to 5-man stack them on this slate. O'Neal is back, which gives them another power bat in this lineup. Paddock has some negative regression coming to some of his statistics. He's been getting way too lucky against lefties, so I like this a lot. I really hope they continue to hit Jackson Holiday at leadoff. He's a nice value at second base if he's hitting leadoff in this lineup, so I like that. Henderson, O'Hearn, Rutschman, O'Neal, Mullins, Laureano, all of these guys. I think Baltimore is, like I said, I think they're one of the top stacks today. Potentially even the top stack when you're thinking of, like, in terms of talent, they're probably the top stack talent-wise on the slate. We got Chicago at Cincinnati. This game has a 9.5 total. The Reds a 218 favorite. Wilson against Nick Martinez. I'm not going to spend a ton of time here on Bryce Wilson. He's not good. He has a strikeout rate or his walk rate's almost as high as strikeout rate. His WOBA is almost 400. His ISO is almost 200. He gives up a ton of hard contact. He does not do a good job of generating ground balls, and he gets barreled quite a bit. So he's not very good. They don't want him in this rotation. They're dealing with some injuries. He has to be in this rotation right now. He pitched okay last time out against Miami. I'm pretty sure we stacked against him in that spot against Miami, and it didn't work out. Going right back to the well. We'll talk about it here in a second. Kind of spoiler alert. I like the Reds. They're my favorite stack, but we'll talk about it in just a second. Other side of this game, we got Nick Martinez. Nick Martinez, a below-average strikeout pitcher. Probably going to get a lot of ownership here on this slate. Facing the White Sox, there's a lot of upside, obviously, in facing the White Sox. They don't have a ton of power, even in this ballpark. Here's the thing about Nick Martinez today. The more I think about this is I think Nick Martinez is going to be kind of chalky because he's facing the White Sox. Sagano, like they have very similar like floor upside combos, and I think that Sagano is going to be a lot lower owned than Martinez. So the more I think about it, the more I might actually have more interest in Sagano than Martinez. Not saying this is a bad spot for Nick Martinez. Nick Martinez just goes out, he throws a lot of strikes, he doesn't walk people. He's going to give up a couple earned runs probably, and he might give up a couple home runs. So the problem is with this lineup, they just don't have a lot of power. They're dealing with some injuries right now, so they don't have a lot of places to beat him. With Benintendi out of this lineup, the lineup is just really weak overall. If Nick Martinez is going to be chalky, I could see taking shots on Sagano. If you're playing 150, I think you're probably getting exposure to all 8 offenses today, even Washington. So let's talk about the bats I would play for the White Sox. And one of the reasons that I do have some interest in Martinez is because I don't really love the bats in this spot. Medroth is probably going to hit leadoff here at 3.2K. You could potentially take some shots on him. Luis Robert, his power has been way down. He's been striking out a ton. Nick Martinez isn't a huge strikeout guy, so maybe. But overall, this lineup is not great, and that's one of the reasons that I have interest in Martinez. I would just blindly 3 or 4 man stack this with another 4 man stack if I was going to play them, and try to get the right combo on a lower owned team, but I wouldn't play a lot of them. Cincinnati, like I said, my favorite stack on this slate. It's only a 4-game slate. The talent in this lineup is struggling, right? Like, we know Matt McClain is better than where he's at. He's struggling big time right now. They've been hitting Gavin Lux leadoff here with Friddle out. We don't know if Friddle will be back here. It was a bone bruise in his wrist, so he got hit by a pitch the other night. I had bet his bases, and I was so sad that he got hit. It was yesterday or today, Wednesday. Happened today. Highly doubt he's in the lineup for this one. Looking at this lineup, Elliot De La Cruz, by far my favorite. Austin Hayes has been hitting right-handed pitching with a ton of power this season. I don't think it's sustainable, but it's working right now. And Bryce Wilson does give up a lot of power to like right-handed power bats. So like taking shots on like Steer with Hayes. If Lux hits leadoff, obviously 3.7 Lux, Steer 3.6 Lux or Steer. So kind of just building around them. I will say that Rhys Hines has a little bit of pop, so you could potentially take some shots on him. But De La Cruz, Hayes, Steer, my 3 favorites here. I probably will end up taking some shots on Matt McClain if I play a 3-entry max. I'll probably have like 2 red stacks if I play a 3-entry max. That's how much I like them today. And like 1 Baltimore. Those are by far my 2 favorite teams on this slate. So that's like the 2 teams that I'm going to really focus on today. Stevenson should be in the lineup too. He did not play on Wednesday. So Stevenson should be back in the lineup. So I like Stevenson at catcher. He has some power. I'm trying not to forget anybody. Just know, like, I have a lot of interest in this team. I'd like this team a lot more, like, if Fraley and Marte and Friddle weren't hurt, but I'm still going to play them. Wilson's just he's not a good pitcher. Tampa Bay at Toronto is where we finish up here. 8.5 total in this game. Blue Jays are 166 favorite. Little against Gaussman in this one. We'll start here with Zach Little. Like, his strikeouts have just really dropped down this season. He's just pitching more to contact, not striking hitters out as much. Everything that we don't like in this spot. He's kind of splits neutral. Even dating back to last year, he was pretty splits neutral. He doesn't really necessarily have that like out pitch. And if you're pitching in the bigs, you're pitching at multiple levels, but you really need to have that, like, I need a miss swing pitch, and he just doesn't have it. His fastball velocity is really low. His whiff rate's 18%, which is in the bottom 7% in the league, according to Baseball Savant. His strikeout rate's in the dumpster at 16%. Like, he just doesn't have that pitch. He relies a lot on like splitters and sinker or sliders, and he just doesn't have that go out and get you pitch. Last year, he generated a lot of whiffs with his split finger. It's down 11% this year. So he's not getting the whiffs with the splitter this year. He's going to go out and try to throw a lot of strikes. You could do worse. You could do a lot worse on this slate, but I don't think I get there. If I'm playing 150, I probably play him. He's probably my fourth favorite pitcher on this slate, behind Smith Schroyer, Sagano. Fifth favorite, I would rank Martinez and Gausman ahead of him. So let's talk about Kevin Gausman on the other side here. Tampa lineup, they have some really young pieces that are potentially going to be really good in a few years. But this lineup is beatable. Kevin Gausman, solid play here. He's been hit or miss this season, but he's doing a really good job limiting the WOBA. It's just when he has those like really high walk games or really high BABIP games that have been beating him. His advanced stats definitely suggest that there is still some regression coming. So like that is always scary. But I mean, if you look at like his pitching run value and his fastball run value, it's still really good. Like he can still get outs with his fastball, and he throws his fastball 56% of the time. So it's kind of his like get ahead pitch. His X WOBA on it's like 338, even though his WOBA is like 285. His split finger is still really solid. So I mean, Gausman is just Gausman. Like, he can beat this team. There's plenty of strikeouts in this lineup. So I like Gausman. Now that like I've broke down all the pitchers, kind of going back to the question earlier, Smith Schroyer, Gausman, I think is like the single entry combo. Unless you want to be different, then it'd be Smith Schroyer, Sagano, or Gausman, Sagano. If I had to rank my favorite pitchers today, it'd be Smith Schroyer, Gausman, Sagano, Martinez, Little. I wouldn't, in a 3-entry or 20-entry max build, get any Paddock, Williams, or Wilson. If I was playing 150 on this slate with only 4 games, I would probably have exposure to every pitcher and every offense. But I would still only have a little bit of exposure to those pitchers and to offenses that I don't love. So a little bit of strategy conversation there. Bats in this one on the Tampa side. Throughout his career, Gausman struggled more with like right-handed power. He's kind of been reverse splitsy a little bit. So I would definitely maybe take some shots here with like a Morel. But I mean, Arnanda has been awesome this year. He'd probably be my favorite bat from Tampa. Misner, Simpson has that speed upside, which could really benefit him in this matchup against Gausman. Brendan Lau continues to get a lot of ownership because his price just continues to drop. Like, it's 3.3K now. He had a couple hits on Tuesday, but I mean, just he's kind of ice cold right now. His price is really cheap, so if you're playing Tampa and you want to make it like a 3 or 4 man and make it work with him, I understand it. On the Toronto side, again, like Zach Little, he doesn't strike anybody out. So I think Toronto Blue Jays probably my third favorite stack today, behind Cincinnati and Baltimore. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair assessment. Atlanta, probably third. So Toronto, probably fourth. I like the spot. He's very hittable. So Bichette, Guerrero, Santander, Springer, Varsho being back is awesome. Varsho has a huge strikeout problem, but a lot of power. Zach Little is going to pitch more to contact, so that really benefits a guy like Varsho. Barger at the bottom if you want some power upside towards the bottom half of the lineup. So again, top offenses for me today: Cincy, Baltimore, Atlanta, Toronto, which is weird. It's all 4 home teams. Do we throw a little 4-pick parlay out there with the 4 home teams? Let's see what the number is. Let's see what it is. Let's see. All right, so Atlanta, Baltimore, Cincy, Toronto, plus 485. It's not the best. All right. Morning grind game, and then I will get out of here. Let me know in the comments over there on YouTube for anybody not watching live. Do you like these shorter slate podcasts? 30-minute breakdown, quick breakdown. Let me know. Hit the subscribe button while you're over there hitting that comment button. Under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts. None of them. I don't think any of them get 6 or more strikeouts. If I had to pick anybody, I don't know. I don't think any of them get there. I guess I'd pick Paddock. Maybe. I don't think any of them get there. Over 8K to score under 15, my bust here. I think all these guys have a good chance to get over 15. My bust would be Nick Martinez, and it would just be more of... It'd be more of just ownership hoping, I guess. I think he's going to get some ownership against the White Sox today. Over 4K to hit a home run. Let's go Ellie De La Cruz. Under 4K to score over 10 DK points. Let's go to the guy I hope continues to hit leadoff, Jackson Holiday. Stack to score 5 or 6 or more runs. Let's go Cincinnati. Question is, if the contest gives you 4 bat max, is it cool to just get 3 backs and a runoff? Are you talking, I'm guessing, FanDuel 4 max? FanDuel, I like the 4-4 stack as much as possible. Every once in a while, I'll run a 3-3-2 over there as well. But I try to stack as much as possible on every slate for what it's worth. It's just long-term, you'll have more success with full stacks, in my opinion. And what do I know? I've only been doing this for a few years. Just a few. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Again, let me know in the comments over there on the YouTube. Make sure you're hitting that like and subscribe button. Let me know. Do you like these shorter 30-minute breakdowns on these smaller slates? If you do, and maybe I'll do more of them. So appreciate everyone hanging out. Have a wonderful Thursday. Back Friday, breaking down a big old Friday slate like usual. Good luck, everyone. See you then.